you have three different ways to, position yourself in the Facebook ads niche. You have one, which is introduce a new mechanism, a new way to achieve results with Facebook ads. You have two, which is take an existing way and just do it better. And then three, which is identity. Go after a whole new identity in the marketplace. And we'll cover all three.
Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Nick Theriault. If you don't know who Nick is, he is the founder of Theriault Solutions, an agency that specializes in helping e-commerce businesses scale with their ads. His course is Next Tier Ads. His ebook is The Art of Running Effective Ads. And his YouTube channel is at Nick Theriault. That's Theriot. Nick, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Yo, what's going on, Michael? Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you for saying my last name correct, too. You're probably one of the first people to say it.
I practiced it. Super excited to have you here. Today, Nick and I are going to explore how to scale your Facebook ads using emotions. Now, before we go there, Nick, I'd love to hear a little bit about your backstory. How'd you get into Facebook ads? Start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, just like anything, I stumbled upon Facebook ads completely by accident. I've been, self-employed last 10 years now that I started my first business, and I was always entrepreneurial my whole life. So, I used to do editing gaming videos for like YouTubers and stuff like that back when I was literally like 12 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's where I got my start at with YouTube and just that online thing. And then fast forward a little bit. High school year, going into college, I take a course on trading because I was like, there's no way I really want to do college. I want something to do online to make money. And then I learned with trading that, okay, hey, you actually need money to make money with trading. So that was one thing I was lied to when I was looking at all the advertising, all the different courses on trading. And then, that right there led me, okay, cool. Well, I need to find a way to make more money because the current $10 an hour that I'm getting from the business I was working within, I was employed in, was not making me nearly enough money to fund that account, which I needed like $1,000 to $2,000 right there. So, and at the time, I also had a love for cars, which still do till this day. And then, I was like, okay, what's something I can easily do? And that's when I discovered detailing. So just automotive detailing, you can make $100 literally in about 3 to 4 hours cleaning someone's car. So I was like, okay, that's literally 2.5 times more than I'm currently making now. I was like, that could easily help me, make some money while I'm in college, while I'm figuring out this trading thing. And then, I needed a way to grow that business. I was like, okay, cool. Well, now that I have this business, how do I get customers? So, I started Googling, doing some YouTube search and stuff like that, just trying to figure out the best way to get customers. And at the time I was working for a landscaping business, and, I was just talking to the owner because me and him were really cool. And he knew I was kind of going off and doing my own thing now. So he was actually okay with that. And he told me that, hey, look, something you should check out is what I use is Facebook ads. And at the time, this is just, making a post on Facebook and literally clicking the little boost post button. You spend about $5, $10 a day on it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to try that. So I launched my first Facebook ad, which all I did was post a picture of a vehicle we just finished cleaning and put a boost post, $5 a day on that. And I think I was spending I got up to like $500 a month within my first 30 days of running this business of automotive detailing. And I mean, we turned $500 into like $5,000 to $10,000 in detailing appointments, purely just showcasing a vehicle we just cleaned, click and boost the post, and boom. And I fell in love with both the business aspect of that detailing business and also to the advertising standpoint of that business right there. And through that, that's when I started over the couple years. Fast forward from 2015 is when I started a detailing business all the way up to 2019. It was September of 2019 that I got my first high ticket agency client. I started to realize, hey, detailing business is fun, but I was working 160 hours a month to make like $2,000 a month in just what I was paying myself. I was like, there's got to be a better way I can leverage my time. Saw a webinar by Sam Ovens. I'm sure if you remember his consulting webinar a couple years ago by Sam Ovens. I didn't even purchase his course, but I was like, oh, wait, so I could take this skill set and actually go and charge people for it. And that's what I did. So started my own social media marketing agency, had a few small clients at the time, like $500 a month, $1,000 a month. And then, parted ways with those. And then eventually I found my way with the e-com side. And then September of 2019 is when I closed my first high ticket e-commerce client, high ticket being $5,000 a month. Which I was like, I'm just going to pitch really big number, because if I cannot get them results, I want enough room and margins where I can hire someone to get them results so I can retain that client. Ended up crushing it for them. Like they were losing $30,000 a month on their advertising.
Wow.
When I came on board, and I helped them scale from like negative 30 grand a month to profiting 100, 200 grand a month within like 90 to 180 days working with them. Relatively quick. It was a women's clothing brand. Cleaned up some stuff, started looking at like creating better creatives and everything like that. And then from there, it just snowballed effect into what we have now. That was September 2019. February 2020 is when the lockdowns and all that happened and everything like that. So, it was an easy way for me to part ways with the detailing business and then just go full in on this social media thing that I've been doing now the last 4 years now. So yeah, that's kind of like the long story short of my whole, whole thing.
That's a really cool story. So somewhere along the line, you decided to add in courses, right? And eBooks. Tell us, and even YouTube. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I was 12 years old, pumping out YouTube videos, how to like use Adobe After Effects, how to use Adobe Premiere, specifically editing videos for like gaming YouTubers and stuff like that. They'd pay me, $20-$30, which at the time, 12 years old, working from home, getting paid $20-$30 to edit one video that took me a week. I mean, that was like phenomenal in terms of like the pay and everything like that. There wasn't many sixth graders making $100-$200 a month from an online business. So I've always had the knack for YouTube. I've always loved it. It did kind of fall back as I went to my high school years because, I just started pushing gaming and stuff like that to the side and just enjoying high school like anyone else. But I always had a love for it. And that's when I realized it was like September. It was kind of like mid 2018 that I started my YouTube channel off now. And I posted just a couple of just random videos, like vlogging, like my social media marketing journey. And that during that time right there, when I closed my first high ticket client, September of 2019, it was from a video on YouTube, literally showing people how to use like BidCap to get more leads and stuff like that. The video got like 200 views total. And this person saw that YouTube video, came to me, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Nick, love to work with you. How much do you charge?" I'm like, "Hey, $5,000. At first, I never pitched that much. And I've never had someone reach out to me from YouTube. So I thought it was a total scam at first, also at the time. And they're like, "All right, cool. Let's get started." So that's when I realized that the YouTube side has some level of authority building with landing and closing clients for the agency. And it wasn't until about September or August of 2020 when one of my mentors at the time, Zach Kesterberg, he was like, "Hey, bro, I see you keep trying to do cold outreach with like for your agency, but then like you seem like you're having a lot more success with YouTube." And I was like, "Yeah, because YouTube's great and all, but the downside of YouTube is that it's really random in terms of like when I get leads and stuff like that." It was like, "Well, how do you engineer it to not make it random?" I was like, "Well, I could just post more." He's like, "Well, there you go. Just start building a routine to post X amount per month." And I did that with YouTube. So I started in like 2020 is when I really went harder on YouTube, all in terms of teaching people Facebook ads. And every video would be either like how to do something with Facebook ads, or here's a marketing trick with Facebook ads, or here's a case study with Facebook ads. And I just kept having fun and I built that up. And, from August of 2020 till today, I posted 3 videos every single week teaching about Facebook ads. And it wasn't until 2022 that I launched my first info product, which was my Inner Circle. I launched this in November 2022. And then the cool thing about the Inner Circle is just a group of marketers that they love my content, everything like that, but they just want my feedback specifically to them because I teach everything. I'm very transparent on YouTube when it comes down to the things we're leveraging and stuff. But people needed a little closer feedback of like, "Hey, Nick, I don't want to work with you as an agency, but I want to learn more from you in terms of like, what would you do differently about my ads and stuff like that?" And that's when I launched my Inner Circle. And then it wasn't until January of 2024 this year that I launched my course. And my course came from actually my inner circle after, working with people for about a year and a half, one-on-one. I took all the common questions they were getting, turned those into videos, and then I launched my inner circle. My course, which is Next Tier Ads, that specifically focus on, hey, people that can't afford my inner circle, can't afford my agency, but it's a little bit lower ticket, that they can fall into to learn up and train up to kind of be in the same path as me.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for sharing all your behind the scenes. This is part of what I love about what I get to do is I get to hear really cool stories from people. And I know that we're here to talk about Facebook ads, but I also know that there are people listening right now that got a little inspired by some of the things that you're doing and how they could potentially actually grow their business by getting out there on YouTube, which is not what we're here to talk about today. But I always love all the little nuggets that come from stories of my guests like yourself. All right. So let's get into emotions. There are a lot of people listening right now who are doing ads and they are utilizing Facebook because this is an audience that's been on Facebook for a very long time, or Instagram, or any of the Meta properties. But why emotions, right? Because this is kind of a, what are we talking about here? Like, help everybody understand why emotions matter for ads before we get into kind of the details on how to do all this.
Yeah, that's a great question right there. So a big part of me as I was learning Facebook ads over the last couple of years was, the typical beginner advertiser. They usually watch videos and it's like, here's how to set up a CBO campaign. Here's how to set up an ABO campaign. Here's like the ad sets and interest and stuff like that you need to target. And it puts a lot of weight on the ad account structure you use. And the problem is I don't see any other YouTubers talking about ads and the actual things that need to go in the creatives. Because if we look at it from a customer perspective, the customer is scrolling on social media. They don't see your CBO campaign. They don't see your engaged shopper interest. They don't see your bid cap $100 or anything like that. All they see is the creative that's put in front of them. And the problem is that if everyone's putting weight on the ad account structure and no one's putting weight on the creative, then guess what? That's where they're spending all their time on. And when it comes down to the creative, they're just going into like Microsoft Paint or something like that, Google Images, and throwing something random in there. And they're like, hey, I'm spending $20, $100 a day. I'm following your exact ad account structure and I'm not seeing any success. So it's like, okay, why? Because at the end of the day, what we're focusing on is not what we're putting in front of the customer. So for me, it took me about a year to learn that. I remember like my very first client that I told you guys about, or second or third client that I took from negative $30,000 a month to profitable. It was something as simple as just fixing the ad account structure. But for 95% of other people, it's actually more on the creative side and what goes into those creatives. And my first couple clients after that client, I realized that I had to realize it the hard way with not being able to generate them results. I'd take a step back and realize, okay, where am I going wrong? And that's when I learned, well, our ads we're creating, they're not grabbing attention from our customers. Then it's like, okay, cool. Well, what do our customers care about? And at the end of the day, customers don't care about, your product. They care about the emotional state they want to be in. They want to feel more loved. They want to feel financial freedom. They want to feel, they want to solve X problem, 50% faster or 50% cheaper. They don't care about your product. Your product means nothing to them. It's the transformation that your product can offer them. So when I look at a lot of creatives from my students, from people that, reach out to me on YouTube and stuff like that, it's like, hey, here's my product. And it does, it makes you, it has like 300 milligrams of caffeine in it if it's like an energy drink.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and I had a student reach out to me yesterday, and it was like, he was showing me this shirt he was selling. He was like, Nick, I can't spend more than $50 a day on this shirt. It's literally just a picture of the shirt. There's nothing special about the shirt at all, and it's on a white background. I'm like, well, no, I know why, because you're not connecting with the customer. You're not even showing a person wearing the shirt. What type of person would wear that shirt? Where would they wear that shirt at? And then what's the emotional feeling they want to feel when they wear that shirt? Do they want to walk into a business meeting and confidently crush that business meeting? Or do they want to be relaxed on like a yacht, for example, right? Or do they want to be on a date with a girl and like she's rubbing up on her arm because he looks so good and stuff like that? What is the emotional state that he wants to feel? And then how can we visually showcase that with that shirt? And that's what more of that emotions that come into play. It's reaching out and understanding where do people want to be emotionally, and how can we visually showcase that and showcase how our product can do that. So we lead with where they want to be, then showcase our product achieving that. And that's where a lot of people get that wrong. They start off with, here's my product, buy it now. Whereas we're like, hey, here's what you want. Then here's how our product that can get you there.
I love it. So many marketers like instinctively, I think, understand this, but for whatever reason, they get stuck in what I call the product marketing trap, right? Where they're just, here's the product and here's its features and go for it, you know? And it's easy to do when you are not paying for exposure, right? Because when you're just sending out an email or you're posting something organically, you kind of feel like you don't have anything to lose. But the moment you're putting money behind it is the moment like it becomes real, right? So where do we start? Like if we want to start embracing emotions in our ads, like let's just start with like, because I'm sure a lot of people are making this mistake. Like what's the first things we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, so it all comes down to research, right? That's where we start off with everything. Research. Couple areas I like to start off with research. Number one, just looking at competitors' ads. It's the easiest way to just get started. What's working for them and replicating it. It's not a long-term strategy at all. But
how can you know what's working for them though? Because they might be making the same mistakes you're making, right?
That's a really good question right there. For me, I like to go look at their Facebook ads library. I like to scroll all the way down to see what's been running the longest. And I say longest, I like to look at like a 6 month to 12 month, you know, and they've been running ads for a couple of years, and I'm not really going to go too far down. But at least like the last 6 to 12 months, what's been running the longest inside of the account for the Facebook ads library. That's my favorite way to see what's working.
Real quick, also, for people that don't know, because maybe it's been a while since they've been in the Facebook ads library, how do they know which one's been running the longest? Is it always the one at the bottom of the list, or is there a date on it? Just so people, you know.
So if you're scrolling through the Facebook ads library, you'll see different dates of like kind of like, you know, July 2024, scroll down, May 2024, scroll a bit further down, like November 2023, for example. So you can see things that's been kind of running for a long period of time.
Yeah, and it's only going to show the active ads. Once they're deactivated, they're not going to be in the library. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we're starting with this research. So keep going with, you know, by the way, okay, just real quick we're looking at the competition. The ads that have been running the longest, once we find them, what are we exactly looking for in those ads?
Great question right there. So my biggest thing when I'm looking through the competitor's ad library is figuring out what is the desired state they're focusing on. What's that emotional state that they're really selling to customers and stuff. So like, for example, if we're selling an energy drink, are they really focusing on things like, hey, this is going to give you more energy in the gym? Or is it more like, hey, this is going to allow you to lift heavier weight in the gym? Is it showing, you know, guys who are like ripped? Or is it trying to focus more on like girls who do like Pilates every week? You know, who are they selling to, and what emotional state are they trying to sell people? What's that desired outcome they're trying to sell people? That's the main things I'm looking for. I'm also looking for visuals as well. Are they showing gyms? Are they showing, you know, like someone at their house? Are they showing someone, or just more like clean like graphics with like a picture of the product? I want to understand these things so that way I can start to understand what can we apply to our product. Again, assuming your product can satisfy that as well. You know, if you're selling a pre-workout, you see all these other pre-workouts talking about how it has the most caffeine and yours has the least amount of caffeine. Well, you know, obviously I don't want to replicate that, but I still want to replicate some of the visuals and some of the desired states, desired outcomes that people are looking for. So that's the main things I'm looking at in the Facebook ads library. From there, I'm also looking at like hooks and stuff as well that people use. So, you know, the big text that goes on the photo, or if it's a video with that first, you know, 3 seconds, what's the hook in terms of what people are saying, what's coming up on the screen, visually, and also from a text perspective right there. Those are all key things I'm looking for when I'm looking through the Facebook ads library. And I'm going to try to find about 3 to 6 different angles, 3 to 6 different ways they position this product in the marketplace. Positioning right here, again, just goes back to, hey, this pre-workout gives you more energy to crush a workout. Or, hey, this pre-workout right here is going to allow you to lift heavier weight. There are 2 kind of different desired outcomes, and I look at that as different angles. I'm also looking I'm also looking at it from a customer avatar perspective as well. Again, is it all just guys who are look like they're about to step on a bodybuilding stage, or is it more girls who look like, they want to lean tone type avatar right there. So looking at angles right there from our competitor ad library. Again, that's going to give you just the best start in the beginning. It's not a long-term strategy, but it's going to propel you a lot faster than trying to do all the guesswork. Again, competitors already spent all the money on the landing pages. They already spent all the money on the ads that, to figure out what works. So we're just going to simply replicate, not copy, replicate those things in the beginning to propel ourselves forward. But long term, we do need to define our own kind of path and positioning, so that way we can separate ourselves from everyone else. Because if we're just doing the same thing as everyone else, we're never going to separate ourselves, and we're really never going to scale to the level we want.
Would love to talk about when we were in prepping for this. You suggested 2 other ways that we can get research. Do you remember what they are? Do you want me to? Okay, yeah, please go ahead and share those.
Yeah, so competitors ad library, like I said, fastest one just in the beginning. The other 2 ways is looking at things like your own assets. Now, again, you may or may not have this depending on if you're a brand new person just launching, or if you're someone that's already been advertising for a while now. Majority of our clients we work with, they're already doing $100,000 a month in revenue, and all we're doing is scaling them. So they already have a lot of data on Facebook ad comments. We literally just looking through our own Facebook ads and looking at the comments of our top ads, we found this one angle for one client that took them from about $150,000 a month to topping out about $2.5 million a month in revenue. Literally all we did was find 2 girls that tagged each other and said "Girls Night Soon?" ? And we made that as a hook. We took that and we're like, okay, how can we position our product to be this fun girls' night experience? So we created an ad because, again, at the time, this client was just focusing on, here's my product, buy it now. So I was like, okay, instead of just here's my product, buy it now, girls already want girls' night, but they're kind of maybe tired of some of the typical girls' night activities. So we took this and we created a hook and was like, hey, this is for the girlies who want a fun girls' night soon. And we focused on the fun aspect. We focused on the showing the girls all together, laughing and sipping wine, all in the creative, using this product. And guess what? We're hitting on that emotional escape of that fun and being able to escape work, escape the 9 to 5, and just have that relaxing experience for the night right there. And we were selling them that desired outcome of what they were looking for. And also, too, from a positioning perspective, there was no one else selling the same product as us, specifically to girls for girls' night. So we were able to really propel this forward. And also, to the girls were very accepting of that mechanism in the marketplace as well, because it looked fun. It really did look like a great time right there. And we were able to scale this brand literally from $150,000 a month all the way to capping out at $2.5 million in a single month, just with that one angle right there. And that was over 6 months right there.
We also talked about looking at competitors' reviews. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So just like we did for, looking at the competitor's Facebook ad library, I like to look at competitor reviews as well. I really like to specifically look at the 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star reviews. A lot of people look at the 5-star reviews, and they're like, I did all my research. I'm like, did you look at the 3-star, 2-star, 1-star? Like, no. So I really like to look at these 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star reviews because it allows me to understand what dissatisfactions people have with the competitors. Mm-hmm. Now, I typically get the most value from the 2 to 3-star because the 1-star is going to be, I hated this product, and they just put 1-star. And then 5-star is like, I love this product, it was amazing. But they don't really give any details. Where I find the 2-star, 3-star, even 4-star reviews, they give a little bit more descriptive reviews. They put a little bit more time and attention to the review right there. And, for example, this dog harness brand we're working with, we were looking at the 2-star reviews, 3-star reviews, even the 1-star reviews from our competitors because we wanted to understand what dissatisfactions people had with the competitor's product. So that way we can say, hey, our product does this X better. So, for example, with iPhone every year, they only focus on 3 things: screen size, battery life, and camera quality. Why? Because every year people complain only about 3 things: screen size, battery life, and camera quality. How many times people are like, oh, my phone's always dying, or I wish this camera was a lot better. So that's why Apple just every year says, hey, this is a 15 megapixel or whatever megapixel camera it is now. And then now the battery life is 20 hours instead of 8 hours. And they only focus on the better improvement of things. And that's how we find those dissatisfactions. One of my favorite hooks is at 60 miles per hour, the loudest thing in the Rolls Royce is the electric clock. It's like, well, if we reverse engineer how they found that hook, it was because they found a dissatisfaction of other people in the marketplace at the time, way back when the 1950s, hated how loud other vehicles were at 60 miles per hour. So what's a prime way we can showcase how good or quiet this car is? Well, if we do our research and we look at all the competitors' reviews and everyone's hating how loud the car is at 60 miles per hour, well, guess what? Let's just talk about how our car is the quietest thing at 60 miles per hour. And we can't really demonstrate quiet, or we can't really say something's quiet without you hearing it. So how can we compare it to something to bring you back to like, oh, wait, that's not loud at all. And that's the electric clock right there. So I love to dig into those types of things right there to kind of break down of how it worked and stuff. But yeah, to go back, 2-star, 3-star, even 4-star reviews on competitors, look at it on Amazon, look at it on their actual websites, understand the common dissatisfactions of those products, and then make ads that a lot of people like to do is like us versus them ads. Those work pretty decent too. But I like to just say like, hey, our product, if everyone hates how long the battery life is of the iPhone, Apple doesn't make ads every year that says, hey, did you hate how long the battery life is of your old iPhone? No, they don't say that. They just go in straight ahead and say, ours now has a 20-hour battery life. So I just say what people want. They want a longer battery life. They want a better camera. And I look at that from those negative reviews right there.
Fascinating. Okay, this has been a great setup for my next question, right?
Awesome.
Hopefully we have used a lot of these techniques or are going to use these techniques to discover kind of the emotional triggers, if you will, of our customers and prospects. Now, when it comes to structuring an emotion, an ad, let's get into the breakdown of how we can actually make an ad that somehow triggers emotions.
Awesome. Yeah. So really great point right here. So for us, let's go back to the girls' night example right there. That's a great one that worked really well for us. So number one thing, we're calling out what they want. So we understood from our market research of, hey, 2 girls tagging each other, girls' night soon. So we created this hypothesis that, hey, we could position this product as a fun activity for girls' nights. So for us, the actual scripting of this ad right here comes pretty simple, right? So number one, you have your hook, right? This is the very first thing that comes up on the screen. This is going to be the text that comes up on the screen and the visual on the screen right there. We'll start off with the text first, then we'll go into the visuals. So when I'm sitting down to write my script, I know girls want to have a fun night for girls' night. That's what I know just from my research. So I literally want to call that out in my hook. All right. Hey girls, do you want to have a fun night for girls' night? Or like the one we use, this is for my girlies who want a fun night for girls' night, right? We're calling out what they want. We're calling out the emotions they want. We're calling out, the night of fun.
They are too, and who they are too. Girls.
Correct. And that's also a big thing right there. If I just say, hey, this is my girls who want fun, or hey, this is for people who want to have fun, it's like that's too broad right there. We want to be very specific to a set of what I would say like a persona right there. So we call that out in the hook. Guess what? Now, any girls who's watching who hasn't had a girls' night in a while, craving that fun experience of that escape, because that's the big part of why girls want to have a girls' night, just have to escape the stress of the day to day, and connect to their friends and kind of, have a glass of wine. So that's what we want to visually showcase. The only difference here is that we're also showcasing our product inside of it. So when it comes down to actual text hook, we start off with what they want. This is my girlies who want a fun girls' night soon. Then we went into like, hey, I recently did this on my last girls' night and it was such a hit right there. So we start to introduce the product, right? We call out what they want. Now we're transitioning into how this product allowed for that fun girls' night. And we made it I like to write things from a perspective of first person point of view. I find that if you can master that type of ad right there, that's the main ad to master before you start getting into like the other ad types of like third person, kind of like commentating over things like that. So I was like, how can we
real quick on that question? For brands who have historically used their page, in their brand identity, are we creating a special, or are we having someone inside the company do it from their creator profile, or how are you actually tying that brand to that thing when you're speaking in first person? Does that make sense?
Great question. Great question. So the way we like to look at it is more just like storytelling, right? For example, like we'll see like every now and then like an organic Facebook post of like, like a Facebook friend, for example, they just tried something new and they're posting about it on social media. Like, oh my God, I just tried this new recipe. It was so good. The whole family loved it and everything like that. I'll link the recipe below. You'll see like grandma or like, your aunts or something like that talking about that on social media. Or like, maybe a friend like an Instagram story trying a new pre-workout or like energy drink or even a drink at like a restaurant or something like that. So it's more just kind of keeping it more from like the customer perspective right there. And then for like the branding side, it just kind of comes down more to, okay, what does that brand appeal to in terms of like the persona, the things you can say, things you can't say. How does that persona talk? That's also a big thing right there. And that's kind of the main things I'm tying into for like the actual branding aspect to it.
Okay. So keep going. So you talked about the text. What about the images and how do we like get that, imagery kind of working with the ad?
Great question. So obviously, first thing, your text, your hook is what's going to take 80% of your time right there. You master the hook, everything else is easy. Because if it's like, hey, this is my girlies who need a girls' night soon, and now the next thing I'm challenged with is just talking about the text going into it. Well, all I'm simply telling is a story. So I'm telling a story where the very first thing I say is, this is my girlies who need a girls' night soon. I recently did my last girls' night. It was so much fun. We opened bottles of wine. We talked about all of our things throughout the week and stuff, and all while doing this product, which was a painting product. So all while we're relaxing and painting, and like the couple benefits around it. So once you write that text script right there, then what I get this question so many times.
Just so we're clear, was this like one of those places where it's kind of like a wine and decoration kind of place where you can go in and you can paint like stuff and then you can drink wine? Is that kind of what you were selling here or no?
So we're selling that experience, but for at home.
I see. Oh, okay. Keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. So completely experience, but for at home. Okay. Our product was a painting product that people would order. The wine and all that, that's completely up to you to, to bring
this is fascinating. Okay. So you took something that was a crafty kind of thing, and you added this layer of emotion into it and put people in a context where they could do this in a small group setting, which it's almost as if the product was the secondary thing. It's more like this thing allows you to have a little girls' night at your house. And that's fascinating. Okay. I'm glad I asked that. Okay. Keep going.
Girls were already going to sit home, talk with their friends, drink some wine and stuff like that. All I was doing was saying, hey, while you do that, also use our product. And it also gives them an excuse as well. It's like, hey, we need a girls' night soon because we need to do this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Cool. So what kind of visuals are we talking about here then?
Yeah. So great question. So once you write your text script, I get this question a ton between my students, between social media and stuff like that. They're like, Nick, how do you decide what visuals to use on the actual like ad itself? So the easiest way to explain it is I go line by line. So I have my 20 lines. Each line, 5-6 words is kind of like how about my average
short paragraphs.
Yeah. So I have my all my lines, and then each one's 5 to 6 words. This is my girls who need a girls' night soon. Boom, that's line 1. I recently did this on my last girls' night. Boom, that's line 2, and then so on. And then what I do is I ask myself one question: how can I visually articulate this text? And it took me a while to kind of come up with this, and it's so simple. But after watching like hundreds of commercials, actual professional commercials, not these things that we call Facebook ads, and I just asked myself, I'm like, why do they show this on the screen right here? Why do they show this on the screen right there? And then once I just kept like repeating over and over, I was like, all they do is just simply write the script. And then they ask themselves, how do I visually articulate this? This is for my girlies who need a girls' night soon. How can I visually articulate that? Well, number one, I could showcase a group of girls drinking and sipping on wine. Why does that make sense? Because this is my girlies who need a girls' night soon. What did a girls' night want? They want a girls' night. They want to see girls drinking. I recently did some of my own ads where I was like, POV, you installed the motion baiting in your business and now you're hitting like new records with your Shopify store. Well, what do people want and how can I visually articulate that? Well, they want to see more and more money in their Shopify store. So I can start off with something simple as that. I can also start off with something like what Alex Becker did, where he like putting like a little thumb drive, is like, I installed this little system in my business and now it's crushing. And people are like, oh, what's in that thumb drive? And then it's like, oh, it's Hyros. So there's a couple different ways you can visually articulate things, but that's literally all I ask myself. And I train all my video editors and my photo editors to do that as well. All my students as well, where you create that script. So you write your hook, which the hook comes from research, and the hook has only one goal, and that's to penetrate what people want right now. They want a fun girls' night. All we're going to simply say is they want a fun girls' night. Then we write the script that goes off that hook. Most of the time, kind of a first-person point POV. So, I'm writing as if I just experienced this girls' night and I'm talking about it with the product and everything. Then, okay, now we have the hook. Now we have that script. Now go through and, okay, what do we visually showcase for each one of these lines? How can I visually articulate these words? And I just keep going line by line and ask myself for every one. And that's it. And now I have my whole script with the B-roll that you need to film, and I'll send that off to a content creator, or we might film it in-house, just depending on the complexity of the project.
Are you finding that video ads are outperforming image ads?
Man, it's tough. I see a 50-50 on every account. It's hard to say one or the other. What I like to tell people, it comes down to, what do I need to visually showcase to someone to create belief? So I tell people all the time, it's like if I was selling the world's strongest iPhone case, and I can create a photo ad that says the world's strongest iPhone case, but it doesn't really create any belief or instill any confidence in me that can help me satisfy my desire. But if I showcase a 10-second video of an iPhone dropping from 100 feet off a building, and then someone just picking up the iPhone and showing how it still works, 10-second video wouldn't take long at all to film. And that would crush it. It would get a lot more likes, a lot more comments, a lot more shares, probably a little bit of viralness to it, and would do substantially well, and also creates belief in the customer that this is the world's strongest iPhone case.
When you are creating a still image, are you generally starting with video and then you're just pulling images out of the video to make the still image? Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah, that's a great thing right there. We don't do that too often unless we get like some UGC back. And then like what we'll do is like, maybe if the creator's holding the product, I'll take a screenshot of like the creator holding the product, and maybe I'll toss a review. So I might take some still images from that, depending on the idea. But again, it just comes down to, what do we need to showcase someone right there at the end of the day.
So when we're triggering these emotions in these ads, is it less about the physical product placement in the ad? And is it more about just the people showing the end result, and the product doesn't even show up till the end? I mean, like, how do we help us understand how the product itself works into the ad, into the visuals?
That's a really good question right there. So the way I like to do it is, I like to start off probably in the first anywhere between 3 seconds to 10 seconds is all about showing someone's desired state. So like this, my girls need a girls' night soon. When we showcase that right there, we showcase girls having fun, drinking, everything like that. Then it wasn't until about 5 seconds in, 10 seconds in, then we showcase them like using the product and how they're having fun with the product. And then from there, so like your beginning is showing the emotional state someone wants to be in, showing that desired outcome someone has, experiencing those things. Then they're using the product. We're showcasing them using that product to achieve that. Then lastly, all we're simply doing is just, that's the call to action side. Here's where you can get this product. Here's where you can, have more fun with your girls, for example, using a call to action that kind of ties back to that hook that we used, where people can buy that.
Love it. Okay. Let's say I'm in a competitive marketplace. Let's talk about how to position ourselves up against the competition, because maybe we don't have the luxury of being uniquely different than everyone in the marketplace. So I would imagine there's going to be maybe with these emotional ads in a product where there's a lot of people selling the exact same thing, this can be the differentiator. I don't know.
So I like to look at positioning in 3 different ways. So I use kind of like the Facebook ads niche, since most people here are, running Facebook ads. So you have 3 different ways to, position yourself in the Facebook ads niche. You have 1, which is introduce a new mechanism, a new way to achieve results with Facebook ads. You have 2, which is take an existing way and just do it better. And then 3, which is identity. Go after a whole new identity in the marketplace. And we'll cover all 3 really quick. So new mechanism is just a whole new strategy. So I'm gonna give a shout out really quick to CT Disruptor. I think you've had him on the podcast as well. Charlie Disruptor. He he created this new mechanism in a way that really propelled him forward. And that was the broad.
Is that Charlie Titchener or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he did a really great job at creating this new mechanism, a new way to get results with Facebook ads. By showing this broad targeting and then like running dynamic ads with 3 creatives, 2 Gotti copies, 2 headlines, right? So he introduced a new strategy to the marketplace. Now, to be fair, he backed up his word with it. I personally use it as well in terms of how we run the ads, the technical side, not the creative side. It works really well. It has been the best thing we've used as well. So he introduced this new way, broad targeting with Facebook ads. He introduced a new strategy. For us personally, my new strategy or my new mechanism when it comes down to the creative side is emotion baiting, right? I'm introducing a new way to achieve results with creatives that convert, and that is emotion baiting, right? So basically just taking something, taking a strategy, making it kind of like my own, rebranding it, and then pushing it out right there. And that's a new mechanism. Now, let's say you're not that smart. You can't really create a new mechanism, which to be fair, that was me as well in the beginning phases. It was just simply taking a already existing strategy, but doing it better, right? So like, let's say, for example, here's Facebook ads that get a 4x ROAS or a 2x ROAS, for example. Well, I want to be the person that can get a 3x ROAS with Facebook ads or 4x ROAS with Facebook ads. Hey, everyone else is talking about how to get 2x ROAS with Facebook ads. I'm talking about how to get 4x ROAS with Facebook ads. I'm just simply taking an already existing thing and just making it better. I'm not changing anything about it. I'm not changing about how it works. I'm just simply better at it. That's all I'm doing right there.
Love it.
Now, the last way is identity marketing. And this is one of my favorites as well, because and I recently did this with like my inner circle, for example. So, my inner circle, when I first launched it, was just, hey, here's how you can get mentored by Nick. If you run Facebook ads, here's my inner circle program. But over time, I started to realize, okay, it's mostly e-commerce, Shopify store owners that's joining, and also preferred to work with them anyway than people that are like just starting out. So then I went to, hey, if you are not just running Facebook ads, but if you're a Shopify store owner doing at least $10,000 a month with Facebook ads, here's my private mentoring circle. And
so you're niching down is really what you're doing.
Correct. So that's identity marketing right there. And that allowed me to double prices. I went from $500 a month to $1,000 a month for my inner circle. And I get a much better quality of student who actually takes a lot less time and attention needed to get them results. So on top of niching down, also get a more customized solution, can charge more, and you work less. So that's the beauty of niching down. Now, the downside of it is if I would launch a inner circle for people doing Shopify, doing at least $10,000 a month, but I launched it all the way back in 2014, 15, when Facebook ads was really just getting the kickoff, I would have such a small market. So niching down too soon can actually hurt you sometimes because your market won't be big enough. So that's one downside of niching down too soon. And it's just more something you kind of have to test out to see if it works for you or if it doesn't. Then you might have to kind of pull back a little bit in terms of that niching aspect.
Nick Theriault, this has been a really awesome exploration into a bunch of cool ideas. I bet you a lot of people listening have never heard of before. If people want to discover more about you, number one, what's your preferred social platform for them to connect with you on? And then number two, if they want to learn more about your business, where do you want to send them?
Great question right there. So my YouTube, Nick Theriault, that's where if you want more content like you experienced on today's podcast, just go on that channel. I have, like I said, I have 3 videos every single week that are anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes long, exactly like this. If you want more of like a one-on-one connection with me or anything like that, my Instagram is Nick Theriault_. You can shoot me a DM, anything like that. I'm pretty responsive on there right there.
So wait, you have an underscore at the end of your name. That's important for
just people. On Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay, cool. Keep going. What else are you going to say there?
And then lastly, if you want to connect with me in terms of like my actual business, my agency is theriauxsolutions.com or my course, which is nexttirads.com.
Nick Theriault, thank you again for sharing your insights with us today.
You're welcome, Michael. I really appreciate you having me on, man.